Good morning, human geography students. Today we continue with Unit 3, Culture. So today we're going to be talking about language. Language, we'll define it as a system of communication through speech. The world has more than 6,000 languages, all right? You can see in this little cartoon over here, he gets credit for inventing language, but he was just belching. Okay, we're going to talk about how language originates in different places of the world. So, official language, we'll define that as the one that is used by the government for conducting business and publishing documents. Question, what is the official language of the United States? And we'll come back to it. So, we're going to break down language and we're going to look at language trees. Okay, so when we do this, this is how language is organized. So languages are organized into families, branches, and groups. The language family. Languages related through a common ancestral language that existed long before recorded history. Consider that to be the trunk of the tree. Okay, that language family where the languages are related through a common ancestral language. Then we have the language branch. This is languages within a family related through a common ancestral language that existed several thousand years ago. Okay, so that would be the branch. A branch. Language group. Languages within a branch that share a common origin in the relatively recent past and display many similarities in grammar and vocabulary. So that would be the leaves. Okay, so language family, trunk, language branch, is branch, and then the language group are the leaves. So we can see here language families, and we see those language branches, and then we see the leaves and the groups. All right. So, Indo-European family of languages is the most widely spoken family in the world today. It includes 45% of all languages spoken today. English is a part of the Indo-European family, so we're a part of that trunk, and the Germanic branch of that family. Okay, so English stems from the most common language family in the world. So, lingua franca is a language that is mutually understood and commonly used in trade by people who have different native languages. The most common lingua franca is English, okay, all around the world. Chinese is growing fastest and may become the leading internet language by 2020. Okay, so an international business is being conducted between multiple nations. Right now, English is that mutually understood language or lingua franca, but like I said, Chinese is growing extremely fast and could take over within the next few years. So, just a couple things to brainstorm. Why is English the most common language today, and why is Chinese catching up? Thinking back to Unit 2, thinking back to population pyramids, just something for you guys to brainstorm here. So, English is the official language of 55 countries in the world, the most of any language. So English is very popular. English is not the official language of the United States. The United States actually does not have an official language. Little fun fact for you, we do not have an official language. So, an extinct language, no longer used. An extinct language is no longer used. people adopt the dominant language of their area, and the other reason would be people that live in isolation and speak that extinct language. It disappears with time. We see that often in tribes, especially in South America and Asia. So, isolated language. A language unrelated to any other. Okay, so we think about our language tree, right? And the trunk is families, the branches, and then the groups, and all these languages are like intertwined together. An isolated language doesn't have any relation to any other language, and therefore it's not attached to any language family. Okay, an example would be in the Basque region of Europe. This language is spoken by an isolated group of people living in the Pyrenees Mountains, located between Spain and France. So it's their own isolated group that speaks that language. Okay, French and English are both official languages in Canada. Quebec is a province where 3/4, so 75% of their citizens speak French. As you can see, Quebec here is mostly French. Most of the rest of Canada speaks English, but French and English are still both their official languages. So if you've ever traveled to Canada, their signs are bilingual, always English and French on their signs. Okay? Historical reasons as to why Quebec is mostly French back during the fur trading and traveling from France. Okay, a cultural hearth. We're going to talk about this as we continue to talk about culture, this unit, and language, but a hearth is where an item, feature, language, etc. begins. It's also known as a cultural node. Okay, so when a feature spreads, it spreads from its hearth. Okay, and like I said, we'll talk more and more about that as we go. Multilingual states. Multilingual states. And remember, states aren't always like, oh, let's think about California and Texas. States oftentimes refer to nations or countries. So multilingual states. Countries with 2 or more official languages. Countries with 2 or more official languages. Example being Belgium, Switzerland, Nigeria, Canada. Okay, I want you to think about some of the challenges that could create. Being bilingual is a person who speaks 2 languages fluently. Okay, person who speaks 2 languages fluently. There's a sign from Canada, right? Welcoming them in French and English. Okay. That is it for today. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.